Hey there, and welcome back to Utility Sports. If you do like NFL content, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel as we continue to push out this content through the NFL season. We do really appreciate your support. Please leave a like, as it means a lot to us, and we'd like to know that we're doing a good job with our videos. So, kind of getting into today's video, we have the Saints quarterback situation for 2021. What does this mean? I think it kind of comes down to three different guys. We look at Taysom Hill, we have Jameis Winston, and then we have player X, whoever that may be in the NFL draft. I think that's kind of what you're looking for this team moving forward. First, getting into Taysom Hill, we've seen on the screen here that he has not thrown a single career touchdown pass for the New Orleans Saints. He's been a gadget guy. He's basically a wildcat quarterback when Brees is as the quarterback. He plays tight end. He does a lot of different things for the New Orleans Saints, but a lot of people think that he could be the next franchise guy, but when you watch him throw the ball, I mean, mechanically, he's just stiff when he throws it. It's not a natural throwing motion, in my opinion, when you watch the New Orleans Saints. But I think he's a guy that's worth keeping around as kind of that gadget guy. I think that's what his best role is. I think that it wouldn't really go well with him being the full-time starter. Defenses have, all the time to prepare for him as the starting quarterback. You can't be as gimmicky with him on every single play. And obviously, he's not a natural thrower of the football. I think there's value for him being on a team with everything that he gives you in an offense. However, I don't see him being that franchise quarterback. Like the stats show, he's never thrown a touchdown pass in his 3-year career with the Saints. So something kind of interesting to monitor there, as a lot of people love Taysom Hill, and he's a really fun football player to watch. But I don't see him being that franchise quarterback for the Saints. Now we get into the backup quarterback to Taysom Hill right now, and that is Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, the #1 overall pick in his class above Marcus Mariota. Obviously, his career has not panned out well. He had a lot of struggles in Tampa Bay, a lot of inconsistency, a lot of interceptions for him with Tampa Bay. Obviously, we saw last year with Bruce Arians, I think the light bulb kind of went on for him a little bit, but he also threw an immense amount of interceptions. But you talk to Bruce Arians and you look at statistically with the quarterbacks that he's had the first year in his system, they throw a ton of interceptions. Carson Palmer said it was the hardest offense he ever had to learn. Tom Brady, we've obviously seen some of his struggles so far this year with turning over the ball. So it was a tough year for him in terms of the turnover rate. However, he was able to throw for 5,000 yards in that offense. So not a lot of quarterbacks can throw for that amount of yards, but once again, he was not careful with the football. He kind of a gunslinger mentality. I'd like to see him play in that Saints offense more, because I think he only has 11 attempts so far this season. I think this guy, definitely deserves a chance to showcase what he could do in the Saints offense with Sean Payton as the coach. I really want to see if Sean Payton can ultimately fix what's wrong with Jameis Winston, because he is a talented quarterback, but there's a lot of things that he's got to clean up. He's got to be a better leader. He's got to, obviously not turn over the ball as much. Kind of the storyline of the offseason that we had was he got LASIK surgery, and we don't know what his vision was before, and obviously after it'll be really good, but that makes a lot of difference. When you're throwing the football, you need to be able to see, right? So I'm kind of curious to know what his vision was prior to the LASIK surgery, and then now after. Obviously he's going to have probably better than 20/20 vision, but he's definitely a guy that has an immense amount of talent, but it doesn't always translate, obviously, for quarterbacks. But then now we look at the third option for the New Orleans Saints. They will probably have one of the lower picks in the draft. They could have as low as 31, 32. It depends on what happens in the playoffs. I see them basically being anywhere from 25 to 32 in the NFL draft. So who's going to be kind of available at those slots? And when you look at how the draft board falls, you're going to see 5 quarterbacks probably go before pick 16, I'd say. I think that's a very real possibility. You have Lance, you have Fields, you have Lawrence, you have Trask, you have Wilson. So all 5 of those guys could definitely go before pick, 15, 16, depends on kind of how the draft board falls. So what does that mean for the New Orleans Saints? You're getting the number 6 quarterback in the class, which is one of the best number 6 quarterbacks that we've had in a class, considering that it is Mac Jones from the University of Alabama, because Mac Jones is an extremely accurate quarterback. I think he's right now throwing about 75 or 76% completion percentage. He has 23 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions so far in this season. Granted, he has a really nice offense around him, but let's not forget Jalen Waddle hurt his ankle and he's out the entire season. So you got to give a lot of credit to Mac Jones and his overall development. He's a natural thrower of the football, and he could be an interesting option for the Saints. So kind of looking at all those 3 options, I think you keep Taysom Hill around for these upcoming seasons. Obviously, he has a $16 million cap hit next year, with $11 million being dead money if they decide to release him. So at that point, that doesn't really make sense to cut him. I think it makes sense to keep him around as a gadget guy, and hopefully you can renegotiate a longer term deal. But he's going to need a really big role in the offense to prove his worth if he's not the starting quarterback, right? You're not going to want to pay him that $16 million a year to be a gadget fun guy for Sean Payton in the offense. So you have to kind of look at it from that sense. Does it make sense for us to bring him in a long-term deal? I don't think it makes sense for him to be the starting quarterback long-term for the Saints. I think he's fun. I think he's a really, really good player to watch. He's just a good football player, but I don't see him being that natural quarterback, that drop-back passer that a lot of people want him to be, unfortunately. I think he's a fun guy to watch, but I just don't see that for him. And Jameis Winston, it's going to be really hard to make a determination on him. I can see him signing a similar deal to Teddy Bridgewater, possibly, kind of that 3-year deal, and then you can kind of look at anywhere from $16 to $20 million for him, just kind of or another 1-year prove it if they want to just roll it back next year and you let Jameis Winston be the starting quarterback. But the thing that's kind of interesting to me is, why is Sean Payton not starting him over Taysom Hill at this point in the season? I don't know if he has a lot of belief in him. So I think it's very possible that they do elect to go Mac Jones in the first round of this year's draft. So we got to keep that in mind, that it's very possible that he just wants to draft a quarterback. You get the 4 years of guaranteed contract, and then you have a 5th-year option if you're the New Orleans Saints, if you take him in the first round, right? There's obviously options where you can take guys in the 2nd or 3rd round, but if you're taking a quarterback on a good team, normally you're going to have some cap issues to begin with because you have to pay the good players. So you want to get that 5th-year option to ensure that for salary cap's sake, you're able to have him a 5th year at not the $25 million mark when you'd have to re-sign him, but you can keep him for whatever that number comes out to be on that 5th-year option. So that's something you have to consider if you're a Saints fan. So looking at it as a whole, I think it makes a lot of sense actually for New Orleans to draft a quarterback this year. Maybe you have a Jameis Winston next year start, or if you want to roll the dice on a Taysom Hill starting. I think a lot of what Taysom does in the next couple of weeks is going to help determine his future. We'll have to see, obviously, if Taysom's going to be a guy that can stick around. But I'm not as a bigger believer as other people, I guess you could say. So thanks again for watching the video. We really do appreciate your support. Please subscribe if you do like the video, and like up the video if you enjoyed this video. So thank you so much for tuning in.